day, everybody. It's the first day in a long Easter weekend break. And I tried to do this video outside when I was out on my walk, but it was cold and my phone kept dying. So what are we going to talk about? Customer service, why I get consistently good reviews on my customer service, and why it's so important with photobiomodulation red light therapy that you cannot overestimate just how vital it is. And so for me, and what I hear back from customers, clients, acquaintances now, is that I put a lot of effort into my customer service, and I do. So for those of you that don't know, anybody that buys a light, whether it's one of the small ones or whether it's one of the big ones, gets a personalized guide. A personalized guide, not this rubbish that gets sent out a lot of the time, 5 to 20 minutes, 1 to 14 times a week. And there's a reason that is rubbish and doesn't help anybody. And the reason is what you are using the light for determines how long, how far away, how often you use that light. And without knowing those things, without knowing that, say for example, skin requires less than knee arthritis, skin requires less energy to get some potential benefits than knee arthritis does, you're going to use the same thing on the same for two different issues. You're going to use 20 minutes because everybody thinks more is better, and when it's not, there is an inverted U effect with regards to red light therapy, i.e. the benefits go up and up and up to a point, and then they come back down to zero. And so if you are using it for 20 minutes from fairly close to get skin, but you're also using the exact same method to treat, or not treat, because I'm not allowed to say treat, to help with knee arthritis, one of those two is wrong. One of those two, you are probably oversaturating a part or vastly undersaturating another part. And so if you don't have personalized guides, you're literally taking a shot in the dark. You know, oh, this might happen, unless you do your own reading, of course. And so I provide these things, but it's not just that. I'm actually genuinely interested in what it is you're trying to help with. And so the first thing when people buy something from my store is that I will send them an email and make sure they've got the right lamp. Because sometimes people buy it and think, oh no, I've got the wrong one. And so I'll email you before I send them out. I'll email you and ask, right, is this the right lamp? Is this the right one you've ordered? And give you the opportunity to ask me, is it the right one? Or, for example, that's the great thing is, like, so buy a lamp, because what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to change it because I'm going to email you, and then you're going to tell me, oh, I want it for this, and this. I go, oh, okay, have you looked at this one? This one might be more beneficial because it's got better wavelengths for what you want. And so we just switch it out. Simple, easy peasy. And then I also ask you, okay, right, you know, what are you looking to help? What are you looking to get help with? And I'll be honest with you with regards to, if you have a list of say 3 or 4 things, say, right, okay, but as long as you focus on the one that's most important to you right now. Okay, what's most important to you? Because perhaps you can get a lamp that will provide you better benefits with that one, but not this one. Or maybe you're better off with a panel over a lamp. Or sometimes I have in the past said, someone has bought a panel and I said, for what you need, you're better off with a lamp. So I've lost money on that because I want to offer the best possible service, because I know what it is what the potential is for red light therapy or photobiomodulation. So I will always give you the best possible recommendation. And once you tell me, now, of course, you don't need to tell me what it is you want help with. If it's personal, it's personal. If you don't want to tell me, that is absolutely your choice. And in which case, what I'll do is I'll try and give you a brief guide of certain situations so it gives you an idea of how much energy you want to put into your body for specific things. Now, of course, if you want to tell me what you want to use it for, that's great, because then I can provide a guide that is specific to you. And therefore you actually understand, right, okay, I need to use 12 joules on that, but I only need to use 4 joules on that, or I need to use 30 joules on that. And again, I'm using words that maybe you're not comfortable with, but we go through that, and the guide goes through that with you. And so with a lot of my customers and whatnot, I end up having almost a conversation over email with these people, and I'm really invested. I love what I do. And when someone asks me a question that I'm not sure about, I will go away and I'll read about it, and I'll read everything around it, to ensure that I can give you the best possible service. And again, what's good with customer service with regards to me and my small company is that it's always me. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody else. You don't have to give away any personal information to anyone else. It's just me. It's always me, and therefore you're chatting to the same person all the time. And the more I know about you, the more invested I am in your success with red light therapy. And so when I see people buy these devices from elsewhere and it says 5 to 20 minutes, 1 to 14 times a week, I'm like, oh, if you don't get the results you're looking for, you're going to blame it on the red light therapy rather than the crappy instructions that came with it. Because the way I think about it is, there was this quote somewhere, if you can't explain it to an 8-year-old, then you don't know the subject well enough. So that's what I try and do. I try and make sure I understand the subject so well that I could explain it to anybody. So well that I could even explain it to my 5-year-old daughter. That's my goal. And so when you ask me about something, when you email me and you ask me, I'd like to use it for this, I will be honest with you. I'll go, okay, we've had very, very positive research on that. And I'll be honest with you and say, okay, there is little to no research. To the best of my knowledge, maybe there are 2 papers on it, both of which have shown good results, but they were in rat studies or mice studies or in vitro, and therefore could I give you a definitive answer? Absolutely not. And that's another thing that we've got to think about, is how you respond to light is very, very individual. How you respond to light compared to how I respond to light is not going to be the same. How your body chooses to use the light energy, those photons, is going to be different to how my body chooses to use it. Much like if I go out into the sun and you go out into the sun, how we respond, how we burn, how our skin tans is all going to be different. Because unlike a drug that is designed specifically to work on a protein or to influence a gene expression, light is light. And therefore your body uses it the best way it knows how, and to do the things that it wants to do, the things that it finds or it decides needs, it has the greatest necessity. And that's why I ask about things, when I say to people, okay, I'll provide you a personalized guide. Try and think of the things that maybe you don't think are working as efficiently as possible, or you could do with some help with. And so sometimes these people will list, like 5 or 6 different things. And so that's what I'll do. But the great thing about light is, and when you're getting enough of it, is that all of a sudden things that you hadn't ever thought about start to work and function better. And the brilliant thing is that will be individual to you. And that's amazing. But what's also amazing is that when those things start to happen, when that positive change happens that you weren't even expecting, it gives you an idea. It tells you just how important light is. Now, I always say to people, like, your start with light therapy is daylight. And it has to be the basis of your light therapy. It needs to be daylight. But then we can supplement with red and infrared light. We can supplement with other light sources. We can use blue light blockers and stuff like that. And the brilliant thing is I love what I do. I absolutely love it, and I use it daily. And therefore, customer service to me isn't a case of a necessary evil. Customer service to me is a vital part of red light therapy, photobiomodulation. And that's why I say to people, even so, you've bought your panel, you've been using it for 6 months, and all of a sudden your husband or your wife or your mother or your daughter or your father or your son has got something and you didn't get that in your guide. Can you email me and ask me, will it work, or is it, might it be helpful for this? And I will reply back to you and I will give you that information. Because the more people that know about just how impressive, just how important light is in any form, how important and how effective light can be at certain things, the better. That's my honest opinion. I would love for everybody to have red light therapy in their home because of how powerful and how beneficial it can be. So, hopefully that gives you an idea as to why I consistently get good customer service reviews and why it's so important to me and why it should be so important to you. If you've got any questions, as always, drop me a message. Have a lovely day. And if I'm not live again over Easter,